So I love my mother, I promise you. But she, I think, inherited a term that I still think to this day, and it's pronounced like hard-headed, but it's like hard-headed, and it's just like being hard-headed, just being just too strong-headed in that way. But I hear it all the time in the way that I think about things that I've done in the past that I now reminisce about. So this is mostly about being hard-headed in that way. But when I was 21, I moved out. I moved to Pittsburgh, and I moved in with friends, which is always a interesting thing that can be done. For the most, it was great. It was fantastic. It was the third place in Pittsburgh that I lived with different people that were people I've known since high school. That I went to Red Lion. Yeah, shame on Red Lion in York, but I lived in Pittsburgh with people from Red Lion, and by the time we got to this place, it was a mansion. It was gigantic. We had 3 bathrooms, 4 bedrooms, 2 different living room areas. I'm not trying to like promote this space as a rental, but it was glorious. It was wonderful. But somehow this person that I had went to high school with, that I had lived with once prior in a different space in Pittsburgh, that I had moved in to this new space in Pittsburgh with, our relationship deteriorated because of this space. And I don't know how it happened, but I mean, the different things that I remember happening contributed to like the escalation of not caring about this person anymore. But just the 2 things that I really remember were the fact that I was 22 at this point when we moved into this place, and like I didn't have much money. I worked at a grocery store overnight, night shift, not much money at all, and I had a 6-quart pot, which like it was the cheapest 6-quart pot you would ever see. So it wasn't worth much, but it meant a lot to me. It was the first 6-quart pot I had ever bought. So it meant a lot to me. And the fact that I couldn't really engage in different parties that these other 21 to 24-year-olds got to engage in was shitty enough, because I had to work overnight. That was my job. I was a manager of a grocery store overnight, and they had a Friendsgiving, and they used this 6-quart pot to fry a turkey, something like that. I don't know. I wasn't there. But this 6-quart pot sat on the stove for like 5 days after. No one had ever asked me to use it first and foremost. But it had become just like this gross thing that I ended up having to clean myself. So there you go. I have my justification on being pissed off by this person. But I was hard-headed. I didn't talk to this person and say, hey, this really upsets me. Could we blah, 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 blah. I was young and stupid and did not talk about how much it irked me that this was a thing. There was a ton of other little things. I'm trying to justify myself being upset about all this. Another one was, so in the 90s, during Batman Forever, I think, McDonald's released these cups from McDonald's, these glass cups that looked so cool, and I had one that I took with me when I moved out, and so I had this since I was like 6 years old, and this roommate had, I don't know what was in the cup. I have no clue what was in the cup. I don't want to know what was in the cup, but I could see it from her room under her bed in a cup, my cup, in there, and it really just made me really sad that I was just like, how dare you disrespect my cup that I've had since I've been 6 years old. I hate you now. You disrespected my 6-quart pot. And now you're disrespecting my Batman Forever glass cup from McDonald's. So I hated that person for that on. Unfortunately, I hated that person. This person that I've known for 10 years prior. But it all culminated to this point where, I told you I worked night shift as a grocery manager. And I had my own little room at the back of the house, which was great. But I was to the point where I did not even talk to this person that I lived with, which was so sad, so it's so stupid at this point that I know, because I'm friends with this person now. But I was not talking to them, one of my roommates, and I'd been to the point where I did not trust them at all, and I put a locked key on my door. And it came to the point where I need to sleep at this point because I have to sleep at a certain point. And I had locked my key inside of my room. And I needed to sleep. I have to sleep before I have to work. And it was Super Bowl Sunday. Just so happened to be, that's how I remember it so well. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and I was like, I can't let them know that I'm like struggling. Otherwise, like they're gonna have the upper hand. But I needed to sleep. I know I needed to sleep. So I calculated every time that there was a big touchdown or something, and I heard that everyone was like cheering and all of that, and I had a hammer. And every single time there was a big cheer, I knocked that door handle. I had no choice but to knock that door handle with a hammer every single time. But I was like, I cannot let them know that I'm a weak person right now. And every single touchdown, I had to knock at that door, and eventually I got in. I eventually got my sleep, and I had hung something on the door so no one knew that I destroyed my door handle, and I got another one the next day so they wouldn't find out. But I had achieved what I needed in that night, and at the end of the day now I'm like, how crazy was that to do that? How stupid and stressful was that time? But I made it happen, and no one found out, so I'm very happy about that.